Hello, my name is Parker.
My name is Ned.
And this is The Force Unlimited, yet another Star Wars Unlimited podcast. This is episode number 43. Moments ago, I was not aware that Baton had been offered a chance to design a card as our Galactic Champion, and Ned was not aware that we were recording an episode right now. So our audio will improve in about 90 seconds, dear listener. Ned, we have three pillars of our show. You love game design and math. I love trilogy, but what is our shared love, Ned?
Bits. Pedantry.
Mildly interesting things. And what would be more mildly interesting to dear listeners of a Star Wars Unlimited statistical podcast than Intro Battle Hoth? I just got this in the mail, and I aspire to mediocrity as a content creator, so I felt like I needed to get this on camera before I ripped it open. So thanks to Fantasy Flight, we've got a box. We've got some fun things planned for this box. I will probably try. I promise I will attempt to record opening it. That may make it into the episode. We'll see how that goes.
Like pack opening with a predetermined box, it seems incredibly counter to like the
board game things get opened, Ned, and we know it's...
I've never seen a person open up a board game on camera.
Broaden your horizons, Ned. Box openings for board games. You got to see how they packed it in there. What kind of space and plastic and like shrink wrap, and man, people love that stuff. And I can also lower my voice down here if we want to really add a fourth pillar.
I do like the crinklies.
Yeah, right. So okay, dear listener, we will be right back with better audio and more prep. Mere moments for us, days for you. We pick back up. Strike that and reverse it. We have actually taken advantage of the gift sent to us by Fantasy Flight, the Intro Battle Hoth box. Pow! 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 And before you close the episode, dear listener, if you've decided this is not for you, let me assure you it is not. The episode, though, I think has something to say. I think we have some fun things to say. But this box, you are listening to a podcast that does linear regression on Star Wars Unlimited cards and has already done the linear regression on this box. There is nobody listening to this podcast who is a beginner. There is nobody in this podcast who needs a game that is both easy to learn and quick to play. But I'm going to.
I've played enough. I've played enough Emperor Palpatine mirror matches to not want games that are quick to play.
Yeah, right. I mean, you choose to do that. So I will say, I'll put the bottom line up front. If you have access to small children, this is a strong recommend. I think this
in a legitimate way. What can you rephrase that, please?
If you have an unmarked van, I will say this goes 1-for-1 with candy. I think this is a great intro product. It's the Walmart version of Star Wars Unlimited. It's going to come out right in time for the holiday season, and I think it's going to sell like hotcakes. If you have Nieblings, if you have grandchildren, if you're the Funkle or the cool aunt, and like those kids that you have access to want to be more like you can buy that box for probably way less than what the starter boxes were going for. And it's like, I will give it credit, like the Game Genic 2-player mat is an investment. You are choosing to buy that over cards. The Intro Hoth box actually comes with like a full proper board game like board. With all the stuff to put your cards where they go, and it tells you to put these things here when it happens, little reminders. This is great. I mean, this is not like I would play normal games of Swoo at my kitchen table with this if I was playing with somebody who was learning. So how did we review this product? How did we take advantage of it? Step one, I gave it to my wife and my 9-year-old son, and we can just hear what they have to say.
This was awesome. It was fine, I guess.
there you have it. Don't buy it for your non-board gaming spouse. I think that it would be a miss there. So, step one, if you want to give it to small children, it's got a thumbs up. And in fact, doubling down this morning, my son had his friend over to teach the game. So my son, before Intro Battle of Hoth, has played some Star Wars Unlimited. He is not nuanced enough to understand that the cards are worse.
No.
So it's just new decks. But his friend came over, and his friend has never played Star Wars Unlimited and was taught by my son. I stayed out of it. I wasn't involved in the teach. They played apparently 4 matches or 4 games. It's unclear. I'm going to assume 4 games. And after the teach, by choice, the new kid won 1. My son won 3, but, experience.
Yep.
And I have texts from the kid's dad. He's doing chores to get more money to be able to go buy packs. So,
mission by singles. Oh boy,
yeah. No man,
dark road.
No, then you got to let the kid on the internet, Ned. No. So I mean, it works for what it does. It does what it does very well. In between all of that, Ned and I went down to the Mox Boarding House, the comfortable middle distance between our 2 houses. Also, good beer.
Yes.
Fine dining. We've talked
a variety
lot
of
about
beverages.
It.
Yeah.
If you don't have a Mox Boarding House in your city, then I'm sorry, your life is worse than ours, and your SWU experience is weaker for it. So we went to Mox, and speaking of which, right now I'm having the Freem West Coast IPA, and I gotta say, I heard somebody at the grocery store when I was picking this up. When I was younger, in my 20s, I used to get frustrated when I'd hear people complain about the rain. I was like, don't move to Oregon and complain about the rain. Don't move to Portland and complain about the rain. There are other people that now in my 40s who complain about IPAs.
They're fine. I just would rather have another beer.
Don't move to Portland and complain about the IPAs. It's all we drink here. Anyway, so we went to Mox and we played a couple games. So the first we played just
straight up box. 20 health bases right out of the box. Just how a brand spanking new human being would encounter it.
How did you feel about that, Ned?
I thought that it did a really good job. Like, I thought that the decision to switch to 20 health bases was really good because it meant that the games ended at about like the 6 to 7 resource turn, given the relatively weaker card pool. And I think that it did a really good job of showcasing like 2 different strategies. And it also had a variety of cards that I would call newbie traps that are there because people want them, but not necessarily because they're good. So I played the Vader deck, and it had a bunch of cards that were like deal damage directly to your opponent's base. And me, the cynical, jaded card game, were going, wow, that's pretty crap. But I can just imagine my child or another equivalent child being like, I get to just deal damage to your base.
Right. No, and I mean, I felt like the decks really did a amazing job, even better than the starters or the spotlights, of just showing off what the colors are.
Mm-hmm.
All of the aggressions felt aggressive and did a lot of just direct damage. The blue felt like vigilant, big butts, just hanging out, like kind of scary. Given that I also had fewer options to deal with them,
and also card draw. Card draw was kind of weird, where there was some card draw. Oh no, it was in red. I'm wrong. It was in red, but it checked for blue.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to that one. Cunning was like all exhaust. Green was a lot of classic green heroism effects of attack while boosting and so forth. My favorite card, actually, that I kind of found really fascinating while playing was the Luke Skywalker card, because Luke Skywalker, do you read me? Because so many cards in this box are like the Star Wars Unlimited cards, but worse. So like the clear example is like the
Han,
which is Han Solo. He is a 6-cost 4/6 with raid 2, and on attack the defender gets -2 for this attack, which is just so much worse than Han 1 unit. But it's clearly doing the same thing. That's fine. The Bright Hope R2D2, it's these like weird, sad versions of so many classic cards. But Luke Skywalker's in a different aspect. He's command. So, and this one also has restored. He deals 3 damage to a ground unit, so they don't have to teach what minus is. I mean, they do, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do minus. He just does 3 damage. It's such a worse version of the card. And I'm wondering how much of like that shift, like of not being able to do the minus is because like I just imagine somewhere that the Fantasy Flight team is still being true to the colors, that they're watering things down. So that was step 1. We knew that that was going to be fine. But I will give a shout out to the fact that I have talked on the show a lot about vanilla and like French vanilla Magic. The idea that one of the beauties of Magic that I think a lot of previous Fantasy Flight games, a lot of the LCGs have missed, is that you can pare Magic down to nothing. You can have a deck that is nothing but lands and vanilla creatures, and the game plays. The game follows the rules of the game. It is a legal game. It eventually reaches its end. Not compelling, probably not fun, but it's the amount of time it would take you to explain to someone how to play Magic that way is trivial,
remarkably short. Speaking from personal experience, like explaining the core rules of this is a creature, these are lands, this is how you attack, this is a sorcery, we're done. 10 minutes tops.
Well, that's the thing. So then I refer to as French vanilla Magic, which is only creatures with like French vanillas and like sorceries. And I'm not talking about like a format where sorceries can get pretty complicated. I'm just saying like things like Fireball and stuff and so forth that just like do their thing.
The black 5-cost removal spell that they print every set.
Just so that there's some, that is actually also kind of fun and compelling. I feel like Intro Battle Hoth is about as, is stripping Star Wars Unlimited down to there's very little complexity there. And the game was still compelling. Like you and I there was back and forth, there was decisions, the questions of what to resource, et cetera, I found fascinating. So that speaks to the quality of the game, if not the box. So then what Ned and I did was we kind of mimicked a sealed adjacent experience in that we took 6 packs and we split them by color. And so Vader got all the appropriate colors and Leia got all the appropriate colors. This box advertises sealed upgrading your deck with Secrets of Power packs. We did not receive any Secrets of Power packs from Fantasy Flight. A gross overstep. We were not able to properly. We couldn't review this without. It's in the box, not on the box, but without the Secrets of Power cards. How are we supposed to review the true?
There's no way. This is not an authentic experience.
Yeah, so we took 3 JTL packs and 3 Legends of the Force packs, cracked them open, and then attempted to augment. We didn't use the leaders. We committed, stayed Leia and Vader, but trying to kind of create that feeling of I just bought this box in October because I don't wait for Christmas. I know my birthday, your birthday are both in October. I have a terrible spoiler for what you're about to get for your 40th birthday, Ned. But I have in October. There's a pre-release in November. You go to the pre-release. You come out of there with 6 packs, a wide variety of colors. How do you augment the decks that you have? You're 10 years old. You're 12 years old, and you're figuring this out. You don't have the resources that we do.
Adults with jobs and TCG player. Yeah.
You, Ned, are a Mr. Suitcase to someone. Everyone is right. One man's
scrappy, crappy,
singles purchaser is another man's Mr. Suitcase. So we built decks with that, and we played a best 2 out of 3 match. That
was interesting.
Well, you won both, so.
Well, I mean, I do like to win, but I think the thing that to me was really interesting about it was the amount of cards that are both the number of cards that are straight upgrades and the number of cards that are not so trivial to evaluate as being straight upgrades. So I'm thinking here of the Outlaws, the blue 3/3 with shield. So there's a in the Vader deck, there's a blue 3 cost 3/4 without shield, and I could very easily see somebody who wasn't aware of the power of shield not seeing that the 3/3 with shield is almost certainly a strict upgrade over the 3/4 without. But at the same time, having them felt a million times better than having a 3/4. And another thing that I just the fact that I won both games off the back of the Purgils was wild to me when I was extremely underwhelmed by including them in the deck. But I thought, I need something to deal with space. I don't have enough like reasonable space counters. But like they 2-for-1 you both games.
Yeah, I think I felt optimistic because I feel like of the 6-packs we had, the yellow green heroism pool was better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You have like an Ahsoka and some other reasonably good stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of this reasonably good stuff, and yet one difference in this I think goes to you as a Johnny versus me as a Timmy is I think you rebuilt your deck. And I mostly looked for like 1-to-1 upgrades at cost, so I didn't touch the curve of my deck at all. So, and I just felt like my deck, both games, was kind of close, but not quite to getting off the ground. Both times, like I was hoping to turn the corner, I did not turn the corner before I was just locked out. Because I think in every game I had better boards. In both games, I had better boards when I lost.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. But I think that also speaks to the fact that the decks are kind of schizophrenic in a weird way, where like because you said the colors they're all doing exactly what they're trying to do. So like the yellow is exhausting, and the green heroism is like good reasonable stats on good reasonable bodies with some bonus on attacking. The problem is that those don't synergize. They synergize reasonably well, but they don't synergize as well as you think. And because if you've got better bodies, you don't want to be spending resources on exhausting my stuff. You want to be like grinding my units down.
Right.
And just like leveraging your superior might. I think in the Vader starter, it's a little bit more pronounced, where you have the red half of it being very like base damage focused, this idea of this very aggressive, almost burn style of deck that synergizes with the leader, and then the blue stuff is all about like, oh, it's a 2/5 space unit with restore 1 and card draw, and those are
you trying to go fast and or are you trying to like just grind it out? And I would agree with that I think the colors each did what they wanted to do, but the decks didn't really want to do. I mean, they wanted to teach you the game, I guess, and
I mean, they did the intentional thing of teaching you the game. But if I was having a red yellow deck that was more aggressive and a blue green deck that was more controlling, I think would be a more natural pairing. But I think that it would also lead to less interesting games and games that explored the colors less.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Fantasy Flight is making. I think this is going to MSRP pretty cheap. I think I cannot imagine that they're the goal of this is not. I mean, the goal of everything is to make money, but the goal of this is not to directly make money. The goal of this is to convince you, as it did this morning, to go out and buy packs. It is to
it's the Costco roast chicken.
Right. Yeah. This is a lost leader product. And so you don't want to have a game where somebody plays against red, blue villainy and just every time they play a unit, it dies. Like,
that's a terrible experience.
Yeah. Right. There's been a lot of talking. I think consternation from some more aggressively meta focused players about Tyler Parrott's article about their, new plan for units to not immediately trade into each other. So things stick around and blah, blah, blah. And whether that's valid or not, if that sounds promising, It's right here. It plays out right here. It was hard to get rid of anything because your decks are so untuned. Forget like the starter sets or the spotlight decks. These decks are just.
And also, almost everything is either square statted or tends to have a bigger butt than it does up front. So, like, you've got 1/3s for 1 in the Vader deck. You've got 3/4s. You've got very few. Like, I remember your 5/5 space unit being square statted, but a lot of them tend to lean much more in the HP direction, and that means that you get more, combat math, right? Yeah.
In fact, Ned, we can now answer this question
really
easily. There are 5 cards that have bigger fronts than backs in Intro Battle Hoth. There was the medium transport. That was not 5/5. That was a 5/4. Not square statted. And that's it. That's literally all Leia has for bigger fronts. All of the other big fronts are in the villainy deck. The Blizzard Force ATST is 5/4. The Avenger is 8/6. Rampaging Wampa is 6/3. And another card we're going to talk about, Admiral Ozzel, is a 3/1.
Oh boy, Admiral Ozzel.
Let's talk about interesting cards in Intro Battle Hoth. So cards that we think might possibly be worth putting in another deck. And I think the only true contender is Admiral Ozzel. And for those who haven't bought it and don't have the cards pulled up, Admiral Ozzel is a 3/1 villainy red 3-cost who, when defeated, causes your opponent to discard a card. Not necessarily compelling, but that is a great when defeated. And Pillage is regularly played. I think there's always arguments in decks running red that are trying to reach that mid-range state of, do you run Pillage main or sideboard? You see that conversation all over Discord. And Ozzel in Thrawn. And Thrawn red, we'll see where Thrawn red is in the secrets meta when this becomes legal, but I don't have optimism with him with the new Data Vault meta. But Thrawn 4 red, this is a Pillage for 1 with a discount of 1 with a 3/1 body.
Yeah, and that's a good card. Yeah,
that's a real good, and if they do a tricky way of playing around it, you still got a 3/1 with a discard of 1, which that's not a terrible downside.
It's a little overcost. It feels a little overcosted and it tends to get traded into, but that's fine, right?
I'm saying like if they manage to sneak out the damage when you weren't expecting it, so you don't have you've already used your Thrawn's ability that turn. So but I'm saying if you get outplayed, you don't feel terrible. Like you obviously rather get the 2 discards because then I think it's on rate. It's better than on rate. But some other cards that I think are mildly interesting, like that are not like pure just discountable. Watch this. That's the Gambit. That is 6 to bounce, a 6 cost. That's kind of terrible. You lost card advantage on that one. But you then also exhaust each other enemy unit in the same arena. Once again, would you like to antagonize 3 people at the same time? This is just an opening to, if you're close to closing out Twin Suns, you bounce the thing that's in your way and then exhaust everything to, now everybody doesn't have anything to attack you and your high level of health is somewhat assured. And the best part is I think it's a very compelling Twin Suns card, and you only need 1 because it's Twin Suns. Mm-hmm. So I'm not 100% this goes to I understand why they did it. Fantasy Flight has historically had a reputation in pre-constructed limited games of struggling to understand that you should just include complete play sets in a core box. I don't know if you recall buying 3 copies.
I do. I have 3 copies of the Netrunner core box and 3 copies of the Lord of the Rings core box and 3 copies of the Legend of the 5 Rings core box.
Wow. Ned, you went.
Yeah.
We played Legends of Five Rings, and we were sad, and you like still committed to the tune.
Yep.
I'm impressed.
I'm sad. Yeah. I need to get rid of them. Yeah.
No discredit to anybody at Fantasy Flight who's still there, who worked on Legends of Five Rings or enjoyed it. It was absolutely fascinating. It just did not rate for us for fun. But so I think it seems weird to have a box where they are not selling you complete play sets. But again, this is meant to be competitive. You're really not supposed to be putting 3 of these things in there. Ozil comes with as a 2 of. So if you're really big on Thrawn 4, I'm sorry, you might have to buy this box twice. Please do it after Christmas if you genuinely want to grow.
Don't be a monster. Yeah.
I mean, forget being a monster. Just like let the grandparents buy this first, so that go get it when it's on clearance, like after Christmas, and they start marketing Intro Battle and or whatever But yeah, so I think Watch This is not terrible in Twins. I think it's actually a reasonably compelling finisher for the right kind of deck in Twin Suns. Another card that I think is interesting, and I'm not going to say good, not even playable, but is interesting, is Imperial Deck Officer, which is a 2-cost 1/4 that can exhaust to heal 2 damage from a villainy unit. We don't have a lot of heal another unit. Is a very blue thing, or sorry, is a very heroism thing, and to see that in a villainy or villainy adjacent card, is interesting. I don't know if this is particular. I mean, this is probably very much too slow for Premier or Trilogy. I don't think this is the worst card to add to a political, lowercase p political, not like Secrets of Power political.
Yeah.
It's like try to build up a big wall of blue villainy that nobody can get through deck. I don't think this is the worst one of right now to throw in there. I'm sure it could annoy the heck out of people of just healing 2 off a Sentinel every turn. But it also brings me to what I actually think is the most fascinating part of Intro Battle Hoth, which is the cross-color kickers. So Intro Battle Hoth has a whole bunch of cards that have this kind of ability that says that if they see a unit of another color, or a friendly unit. So the classic example is R2-D2, known to make mistakes, is a heroism cunning unit. On attack, if you control a command unit, exhaust an enemy ground unit that costs 4 or less. We haven't seen that kind of mechanic in the SWU yet.
No.
A little bit of heroism and villainy, but certainly not like building your color pool for you. And I think that's wild to drop a new mechanic like that again, to the point, it makes sense from a beginner standpoint in that it's trying to this is a great way to teach people about aspect colors and how to pay attention to those symbols,
and they are on, with R2 and C3PO, they're on these units that naturally want to be with each other.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So just like in Spark of Rebellion, where they naturally curve in, R2 into C3PO is a good, that's a designed pairing. R2-D2 in Intro Battle Hoth gets his trigger on attack. C3PO is a 3-cost. When played, if you control a cunning unit, draw a card. So you place R2-D2, turn 2, you play C3PO. You're learning, I do control a cunning unit. I draw a card. Then R2-D2 can attack. I do control a command unit. I think that's so it makes sense from a standpoint of teaching. Yeah. But I'm also just kind of surprised that we haven't seen that in core SWU yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. On the villainy side, you've got Admiral Piet, where I was right. It is a blue, a vigilance unit that draws a card, but it's specifically checking for a red card.
Right, and so it's kind of a red effect.
Right.
In blue, but it knows you're playing a red deck. You've got the aforementioned Imperial Deck Officer. You've got General Veers also pairing with Piet and Veers at 4 and 5 if you control a blue unit. Also with the slightly one higher cost being a when played, as opposed to the lower costed one being on attack.
On attack.
So you nice little. So again, you've got a red unit that heals 2 damage from your base. Not a traditional red effect, but it knows you're in a blue deck. I am surprised. I mean, like, I'm surprised we don't see more of that, because I think that's a great mechanic, because it kind of like the card's still playable in limited.
Yeah.
Like if if you're playing like not
it mechanically functions, right? Like it mechanically it can take a slot in your deck. Would you like playing this card if you weren't playing the other aspect? No. Having experimented several times with trying to play Anakin, Champion of Mortis, in a deck that contains no heroism cards, don't do that.
Right.
but the card plays, right?
Right. And so I mean, like in limited, right? Like in a draft, assuming Veers is in a world that's playable, are you paying 5 for a 3/6? I mean, you're not happy,
right?
But
it's better than it being blue, right? Like if Veers was blue and you were in a red deck, you just couldn't play it at all, or it would be so ridiculously awful that you would never even dream of playing it. Right.
So I think people talk like, I feel it is inevitable that we're going to see a card that is like blue and red in the cost. But to date, the only times they've done cross color, which they have, has been with piloting and smuggle, where you've got different color for the pilot or smuggle cost. And smuggle, basically, like for example, the hot shot.
I love that card. Yeah,
but a lot of people, I mean, because it's still, you don't need to have both, right? You can play
right. No, I have not seen anybody play it purely in red, but I've seen people play it purely in yellow, as I am only ever going to resource this card and I'm only ever going to smuggle it out. Right. I honestly love that cycle of cards. The blue sheriff guy, where they exhaust if you play a yellow card and they smuggle for yellow, I think is a card that I've always wanted to make work, but haven't quite been able to get to go.
Right. And so I think that's like, so we've already gotten there on those keywords, but those are essentially changing the when played cost. Veers still requires that you're in a red deck to play. So it is really, it's not just that it could be played in 2 colors. It needs, in order to be played optimally, to be in both colors at the moment of play. And so I feel it's inevitability that we will see a like blue-red card, a card that has a blue symbol and a red symbol, and it's cost, and you can't play it at cost unless you have a blue and a red. I think that's on a long enough timeline inevitable.
It's a when and not an if.
Yeah, right. Like that just feels like such an obvious corner of the design space. The fact that this feels like a mechanic they could just do all the time, like just in color riders, because it doesn't break limited in the way that it. I mean, like a blue-red card is going to be really hard to play in limited because you have to be in those colors. This makes it, So, anyways, the off-color kicker. I don't know what what you call the. I'm sure there's an internal term for the look to see if you control shared color. I would love to see more of that outside of Intro Battle Hoth. I would love to see that on competitively priced cards, where the card is just nice and solid in its pairings, and it doesn't break limited. Right.
Tobias Beckett was the card I was trying to remember. He is yellow and he checks for blue when he smuggles for some blue. Yeah.
You have clearly not seen the movie that you refer to him as a sheriff.
He looks like Mal from Firefly.
Of a criminal gang.
Okay, all right.
It's Woody Harrelson leading a criminal gang, Ned.
Oh, damn. All right.
So I did not go to sheriff at all. So I would love to see more of these. Fantasy Flight, like, I mean, you're 2 years out, but put this mechanic. This needs to be an evergreen mechanic. This is a mechanic that doesn't. require rules explanation. It doesn't, if you already know, you put it in your beginner product.
Right.
So clearly, like anybody who's actually playing knows how to play these cards. Put it in competitively priced, competitively costed, good cards. I want to see a legendary with that mechanic. I want to see, you can, and also, like, it's a great mechanic for like kind of busting open Twin Suns. Put that color. I mean, we've seen it in Magic with kickers. Put it on. Put two. Make a cunning card that looks for both aggression and vigilance. Like, good luck in Premier, but in Twin Suns, congrats. Now you've got a card that's just busted good, right? Like, I mean,
or it just plays in a strange way, right? Like, again, to think back to that Hot Shot Blaster, if you have things that you can play for the smuggle cost, it makes a kind of puzzle,
right?
A deck building puzzle that's interesting,
right? And I mean, you see it because like you look at Sabine's Masterpiece looks for this, but like it's very much designed that it's playable anywhere because it literally looks for cunning itself, right?
Sabine's Masterpiece is pure heroism, I thought.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. So it's not looking across colors. Thank you. That's why it didn't come with my original search. For some reason I thought it was in
No.
No, Sabine's Masterpiece is the effect, and it's great. But it's also partly great because you're so easy to hit two of the things that it does. And so anyways, Fantasy Flight, use that mechanic. But that's been, I think, our main. You got more, Ned? Please.
Just one more thing. Talk about that deck building puzzle. I think that Anakin, Champion of Mortis, is a really great example, and that the decks that have been able to use him best have been decks that find interesting ways to get heroism cards in the discard pile. So I'm thinking of like
villainy,
the Kylo or villainy cards. So I'm thinking of like the Kylo lists that are specifically running the heroism upgrades that they can pitch to turn on Anakin, Champion of Mortis, and then they're willing to like use all the parts of the animal and use those upgrades later when they're or
just Kylo. I mean, even your Mother Talzin, who just used the aggressively costed Kiadi Mundi.
Oh boy,
where like you wouldn't main deck that for 6 by itself, but turning on Anakin, a thing Kiadi Mundi is known to do. Is
he's got that dome,
right? Like is value. I think I just want to see so much more of that mechanic as the card pool grows. I understand you've always got to be thinking about limited. You don't want to get too wild, but man, I just want to see that. I want to see in Trilogy with and Twin Suns, the Eternal formats get to a point where there's just looking at all kinds of different colors. I love that mechanic.
Heck,
best part of the intro battle Hoth. So anyway, again, thanks for sticking through with us for like the whole 44 minutes. You're loyal. We appreciate you. If you go buy this, if you have access to the target audience, which is not you, dear listener. This is cheap, but still too expensive just for 2 copies of Admiral Ozzel. Don't do it. Even if it's on 4-player, don't do it. But what you can do is buy this for enabling, and you can take Ozzel out and put in like an actually good red villainy common. They won't know.
They won't.
And now you have your 2 Ozzles. And if you have multiple siblings who have had children, you could buy the box twice. Now you got a play set of Ozzel. Also, none of the children will know. Just make sure you put the same commons in because cousins talk. You don't want them to get confused. But that's all we got. We really thank you, Fantasy Flight, for the product. My children loved it. My child loved it. My other child desperately wants to watch it. My youngest, who is 4, has graduated from Young Jedi Adventures to Star Wars Resistance in an effort to learn more Star Wars. Again, she's on her 2nd Star Wars. Who is Luke? Who is Darth Vader? Like, these aren't actual people in Star Wars to her. So, Ned, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
You make a great intro product, Fantasy Flight. Kudos.
Yeah, we never have to play Pokemon again, Ned.
Oh God, I am so sick of that battle box. Boy.
And with that, dear listener, thank you for tuning in. We will see you. We will not see you in 2 weeks because we would normally record the night of the sectors here in our house, Swoo City. We will have just spent 2 nights not talking to our spouses, so we are not going to record Sunday night. So we'll probably be 3 weeks, dear listener. Thank you. And
adios.